what you would do is you would take your blog post and you would say, all right, ChatGPT, please create an email, start the email with a story, and then, put your story in of what you wanted to start with, or just a brief outline of your story. And then tell them you want like a basic summary of the blog post, and it will do that for you. So what I did with my book, which was really cool for my description, what I asked it for was, I was like, well, first I gave it the table of contents for my book, so it was really clear on what the book covered. And then I asked it to write a one paragraph description of what the book was. Asked it to write a one sentence summary of what the book was, and it did. It's just amazing. It's really great at summarizing information for you. And, I've actually said, condense this paragraph into 2 sentences, and it does. And it's like more amazing than I could have ever done.
You're on a mission, and you just need more people to know about it. And whether you're brand new to marketing or a seasoned pro, we are all looking for answers to make marketing decisions with purpose. I'm Monica Pitts, a techie, crafty business owner, mom, and aerial dancer who solves communication challenges through technology. This podcast is all about digging in and going digital. I'll share my marketing know-how and business experience from almost 20 years of misadventures. I'll be your backup dancer, so you can stop doubting and get moving towards marketing with purpose. Hello again, and welcome back to Marketing with Purpose. My name is Monica, and I am your host of this very awesome techie yet not so techie episode. I am super pumped. I know that you guys have been hearing about AI all over the place, and you've probably even heard of ChatGPT. Now, I personally hadn't used it, and I'm really interested in how I can use tech to save time in my business and in my marketing, and I know that you are too. And so I found someone who could tell us all about it. Her name is Andrea Thomas, and today she's going to tell us how we can use ChatGPT for blog ideas, outlines, keywords, and SEO. Andrea is no stranger to tech. She's been working in the digital world for 15 years. She began by making websites and then later moved on to creating iOS apps. And last year, she decided to shift her focus to helping other women entrepreneurs with tech for their businesses. So her main goal is to teach entrepreneurs how to use ChatGPT so they can take their business to new heights. In this episode, she is going to explain, first off, what ChatGPT is, just in case you were living under a rock and didn't know what it does. And also, she's going to explain how you can use it to work your way through your writing process. So how you can use it to get ideas, make an outline, find keywords, and then also write click-worthy SEO-rich titles. So that's pretty amazing. But what's really, really cool is you're going to find that Andrea has a brain of a programmer. And so what she's done over the past months is interact with ChatGPT and figure out how to talk to it to get the results that she wants out of it. And in this episode, you're going to get a lot of tips so that way you don't have to spend months to figure it out because she's going to give you a shortcut. She even made us a downloadable PDF. I'm so excited. Really, no, I got so excited when she was telling me about all this stuff, and it's going to be so cool, you guys. So stick with me here. This is an awesome episode. I am so excited to introduce you to Andrea Thomas so she can teach you all about ChatGPT and how you can use it in your writing process. All right, let's get to business. Hello again, and welcome back to Marketing with Purpose. I'm super excited today because everybody has been talking about AI. My staff has been talking about it. All the podcasts and blogs that I follow have been talking about it. And I got to be honest with you, I don't get it all the way yet. And so I found this awesome human who is in one of my membership groups, and not my membership, but we're in a membership group together. Andrea Thomas, and she is going to talk with us about using ChatGPT to create copy for your website. But she's really good. She's going to talk us through all of it. So, Andrea, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
All right. So my name's Andrea Thomas, and I started back in tech back in like 2005. I got this really cool job working as a quality rater for Google. And through that job, I learned a lot about SEO and how they rank websites and, just the different websites out there. And so it made me excited that I wanted to try to make my own website. And so I did that, and I worked as I had a number of niche websites, and I used affiliate marketing to make money off them. And I did that for a number of years. And then I graduated to apps. I decided I wanted to make my first app. And so I did. And very monumental day for me is February 1st, 2013, when my very first app was available in the App Store, the Apple App Store. And so I will always remember that day because I spent months working on the app and getting it done. So it was very exciting. And over the years, I've still been working on apps, but the more I've gotten into networking groups with other women, I know a lot of them, tech is holding them back from moving forward in their business. And so I've been focusing really on trying to help other women with tech. And lately, I just discovered ChatGPT. And I will tell you, it has been a huge game changer for my business. And I don't know if you want me to tell you my first encounter with ChatGPT.
Do it. I want to hear it.
All right. So, well, it's a little bit sad, but my cat, Frank, was sick. And he eventually died, sadly. And right after his death, I was, just super depressed. I really, I was just crying all day. I couldn't really do much. And I got an email from someone that has one of my apps, and they were asking me why I had removed a feature and, different questions. And I really didn't have the energy to answer them, because I can barely think at this point because I'm so sad. And so I said, I'm going to give ChatGPT a try. I've heard people talking about it. I'm just going to give it a try. So I went and I got the email, I pasted it in, and I told ChatGPT that I wanted it to write a response. And, I gave some guidelines of what I wanted to include in the response. And oh my God, the answer I got back, it was like fabulous. It was a better response than I could have ever written myself. It was just amazing. And so I changed a few things here and there just to make it more, relevant to the person and personable to the situation. But, from there, I was like, this is a game changer. This saved me, 20, 30 minutes of struggling, trying to write an email, trying to explain to this person why I removed this feature. And I had to learn more.
That is fun. Well, not the reason why you ended up trying it out.
Yeah.
I do get that though. We had my first dog ever, maybe. I got her when I graduated from college, and she was with me all the way through both of my babies, every single night, every single day. And then when she passed away, my husband and I we laid in bed and we cried for nights. And one night we turned to each other and we were like, why are we so shook up about this dog? We didn't even cry this much when his grandma died, And then we were like, are we terrible people? And it was just that she was a part of our family, like an intimate member of our family. And she was not there anymore. And so, well, I'm glad that you found some light by finding GPT and then pouring some energy into getting to use it. So it's crazy that it's that responsive though. I was talking before we came on air and said my real only interaction with it is using the Canva magic text because I have Canva. And I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm really expecting it to be like very stupid, right? And I put in ways to optimize your website, and it spit out a list of like 7 things that are absolutely accurate. And I was blown away. And I copied and pasted it over to my developer. And I was like, look at this thing. And we were both like, whoa, whoa. So that's my only interaction from it. So I have one more question about you and your background. You've moved through different paths in this entrepreneurial journey that you've been on. So what kind of transitioned you? are you still doing apps, or have you transitioned away from doing apps? Tell me about that path, because everybody's always kind of especially right now, I feel like people are in a period of transition. A lot of people are. And so hearing about how other people make their decisions is kind of a powerful thing.
Well, originally I started my business. I had Lyme disease years ago, and so I couldn't work a full-time job. And so that's how I happened upon the job working for Google. I was a nice work at home job that I could do and I could set my own hours. And I don't know about if anybody's had Lyme disease, they know that you can develop into chronic Lyme and, you have health issues. You don't always get 100% healed. And so I've had to find ways to work and have a business that works around my health. And so when I did websites with the affiliate marketing, I had to constantly update the websites every day. It was a constant thing that I had to do. And I had some health issues and I had to take a break from a month from it. And I kind of lost all my traffic, and people that were wanting to advertise stopped contacting me. And so I had to find a better way to make a living. And so the apps were that for me. I really don't have to work on them every day. I do have to update them every year, or sometimes more than that. Whenever Apple updates their iOS, it inevitably breaks the app and I have to update it. And so that's why I got into the apps. The one thing I don't like about the apps and why I've been kind of transitioning out of it is because unlike a website, if you have a website and you want to update your website, you can just go in and update the website, publish the changes, and you're good. But with Apple, you have to submit the changes to Apple and they have to approve it or not. So your business hinges on whether Apple will approve your app or not. And so that's kind of makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, like being at the whims of tech god like Apple is pretty scary. And then now you're moving into like this more educational realm, it sounds like, with Chat GPT kind of at the center of it. So what does that look like now?
Well, in the past year, I've actually had some courses that I developed and have offered on creating your lead magnet. It takes you through all the steps for creating and delivering your lead magnet. And I had released that, and then Frank got sick, and then I kind of, things were so stressful, and I kind of transitioned out of that. And I guess that gives me, I still have those courses available, but I'm not actively selling them. And I still have to update the one because Canva changed a lot of things. And so when I discovered ChatGPT, I kind of like fell in love with it, if that's weird. I don't know. This may sound sad, but like Frank was my, BFF. Like my whole day revolved around him, especially in the end because he, was sick. And so when he died, I was lost. What do I do all day? And then I discovered, ChatGPT, my new BFF.
Yeah.
And so it's really helped me in my business, though. I mean, it's just amazing at coming up with ideas and challenging me to think differently of, how to do things. And it's like having a really smart person with you all the time that you can just ask advice to.
Yeah.
And then they give you advice. Because I recently published a book on ChatGPT, how to use ChatGPT. I compiled all the information I learned, and I was asking ChatGPT for ideas for titles for the book. And so it gave me some titles, and I didn't really like it, but I mixed and matched some of the stuff it gave me. And I said, what about this title? And it gave me its actual opinion. Well, it said, I can't give you my opinion on the title, but here's what, factually, objectively the title means and can do and stuff. It was like, just asking somebody for their objective opinion of whether it's terrible or good, and it will actually tell you. So it's so cool.
My jaw is like open. I'm like, this is crazy. Gosh. And now I'm like, I just want to get off this podcast and play with ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, you have. It's amazing.
I'm going to be so excited about this. Okay, so we've been talking about ChatGPT a lot, but what if somebody's been listening to this and they don't know what in heaven's name that we're talking about? Can you tell them what are these words? What does ChatGPT mean?
All right, so basically, ChatGPT is like an artificial intelligence system. It's designed to understand and generate human-like text. And it's like a super smart chatbot, that you can have the conversation with. And it's like, I asked ChatGPT what it was. You can actually, if you don't really know what ChatGPT is, you can ask it what it is and what it does, and it will tell you. It kind of inflates itself sometimes that it's like so superior, and actually it is. But it's like having a computer program that talks to you or can talk back to you back and forth, and you can literally have a conversation with it through what are called prompts. And they call it prompts, but it's really, just questions that you enter in and ask it. And if you don't like its response, you can say, I don't really like that. Can you give me, another answer or something like that? It's all about how you communicate with it. And
yeah,
it's just, a very knowledgeable friend that you can ask questions to.
well, where do I go, like, find it? Like, if I wanted to use it, how does that work? Do I, like, set up an account? Is it something that I pay for, or is it like a website? An app? I don't even know. Like, I went to the Open AI. Actually, I Google searched for ChatGPT. I got plunked
Mhm.
on the Open AI website, and I was like, is this a joke? Because the website is kind of like psychedelic with the colors and stuff. And I thought, I have to be in the wrong place and I need to leave and go talk to somebody about this.
Well, I felt the same way when I went to the website for the
Okay.
first time. Yeah, it's a little out there. You're like, am I in the right
Yeah.
place? Is this really the chat GPT everybody's talking about? And so I actually, I created a workbook for your people that
Yeah.
listen to this.
Yeah.
And I included step-by-step directions on how to sign up for ChatGPT. But basically, you just go to the OpenAI website. It's openai.com. And then there's a menu at the top where you click on that, you click on products, and then you select ChatGPT from the drop down, and then you can sign up for your account. Now, one thing I will tell you is that you have to give them your phone number, because I guess they want to verify that too. So you'll sign in with your email. That's how you sign up for your account, with your email. And then they have to verify that you're actually a person. So you will have to do that by giving them a phone. And you can't give them, like, I have a Google Voice phone. You can't give them one of those. You have to give them an actual cell phone number. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's free to use. Regular chat GPT is free. But I will tell you, if the free accounts, if it's super busy, it's hard to get in.
Okay. So there's a limited
So you're
number of
kind of,
seats kind of with, because it can
yeah,
only
if it's
probably
super
think
busy.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you can sign up for a pro account, and it's $20 a month.
Okay.
And it sounds a little high, but I will tell you the amount of knowledge that I've gotten from ChatGPT, like that $20 is like,
Worth it.
I'm happy to spend it.
Yeah. Well,
So
we're getting rid of our clock in, clock out system. So maybe I should get ChatGPT instead, like just psh, psh, one for the other. Anyway. Okay. So,
But I want to tell you one limitation of GPT. You have to be really clear on how you write your prompts or your questions, kind of like you're talking to somebody who's 5. The answers you get really depend on the prompts that you give it. So,
yeah,
and we're going to talk way more about that later in this episode.
that's a good point though, because I do use a lot of slang. And when I speak, I don't even realize I do it. And when I had, for a while, we had multiple employees where English was their second language. Like we had some employees in like California and like even some here, but they were native Spanish speakers. And then I would use the slang and I'm like, I mean, I know that they speak great English, like they speak eloquently and it's wonderful, but do they know these weird Midwestern like words that I'm stringing together for them? And I can imagine that, ChatGPT might not know all of my weird Monica-isms like either.
Yeah, yeah, or like different jargon or initials for things.
Oh,
It may not know stuff like that, so you have to be really clear, and it will tell you if it doesn't understand what you're talking about, or it'll just give you some abstract answer, and you'll know to go back and write a different prompt for it.
now, one of the things that I talk to people about all the time is process to get creative out, right? Because I'm a firm believer that if you're going to do creative stuff, you need a process to get it out, or else you can't do it consistently time and time again. And so, what you were explaining to me as we were setting up and outlining this podcast is that ChatGPT can actually help people save time through the entire process of writing for their website, like blogging in particular. So, just taking myself and our audience through the steps that we would usually go through, you would start with ideas and then outline the post, find keywords, incorporate them, and then write click-worthy SEO-rich titles. And you're saying, and I believe you, that ChatGPT can help me all the way along, like this journey, all this through this whole process. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. This is really exciting. I used to be a blogger back in the day. I had a beauty and style blog. And if I had all of the ChatGPT, oh my gosh, it would have been a game changer for me. I could have, put out so many articles and not struggled, and it would have been great. So yeah, I'm excited about the process. I've used this process for articles for myself, not necessarily for blogs, but yeah, it's amazing. It does it all.
So
It
how
really does.
do I get, so let's start with the topics, right? Because that's the beginning. What's the best way to get topics out of ChatGPT then?
Okay, so the first thing you really want to do is you want to have a goal for your blog post. You want to know what type of blog post you want to create. You want to, educate people, entertain people, inspire people. And then you want to decide on your topic. What topics do you want ChatGPT to generate ideas for? And then, of course, knowing your audience. That's also important because you can also use that in prompts, and ChatGPT will tailor the results to all these variables that you give it. It's kind of like programming, which I think that's why I love it so much. But it's not complicated. Like, it's super, like, I may say it variables, but it's really just like a goal, a topic, and your target audience. Those are three main things that you need to know before you want to type in any prompts.
So a goal, a topic, and a target audience. Can you give me an example? Because my brain is trying to formulate examples, but it's not ChatGPT.
Yeah. So say you're a fitness coach, and you want to brainstorm blog ideas for your fitness blog, and you want to help people you want to educate them, all right, on healthy eating habits. Okay. So right there you have your fitness coach. Your goal is to educate them, and then your topic is healthy eating habits.
Okay. And so that's what you would put into ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, there's two things you can do. So if you're really sure about the type of ideas that you want, say you're absolutely sure these are the exact ideas I want, you can type in, please generate brainstorm blog post ideas for a fitness coach who focuses on educating people on the benefits of healthy eating habits.
Okay.
And it's, just basically a sentence. You can just ask it. You don't have to, I know I said the word variables, so I don't want to scare anybody away that it's like programming. It's just basically asking a complete sentence with all of those items in it that you want to know. And if you want to include like your target audience, you could say that you want to brainstorm blog post ideas for a fitness coach who focuses on healthy eating habits for seniors over the age of 75, or for, millennials under 20, or I don't know, are millennials under 20?
No,
sorry,
they're not.
You can.
I don't think they are anymore. I think that's the next generation.
I'm showing my age.
It's okay.
But but if you specify your target audience, like I showed you in that, then you can really hone in on specific, ideas. But if you're not really sure of, what type of idea you want, what you can start out with is just, I'm a fitness coach, and can you generate some ideas on healthy eating habits? And then once ChatGPT generates those initial ideas, you can go back and say, okay, idea number 5, where you said this, can you expand on that? Or can you make it subtopics, create a list of subtopics for that particular idea. And then you can just hone in on different ways to it's like a brainstorming session with someone else. Just imagine you're talking to a friend and you have this list of ideas, and you can break down different ideas and expand on them. And you just ask ChatGPT to do it and it does.
Wow. It's different than Googling. I thought it would be more like Googling, but I feel like with Google, I have to learn the vocabulary and I have to get really specific to find my answers, but that all has to happen inside my head. And it sounds like that doesn't have to happen there. Okay. So I really I want to play with this so bad. So the next thing is once I get my list of ideas, then I would normally make like an outline, like what am I going to talk about? Or I need to make an outline before I write it, or else I just end up with like this scattered mess that I have to reorganize. So how do you use the topic ideas in ChatGPT to make an outline then?
All right. So there are, if you just want a very basic outline of the idea, all you need to do is you just ask ChatGPT to create an outline for your blog post from, and then you put the idea, you let them know what idea you want them to create an outline for. But it can also, which is really super cool, is it can create a custom outline for you. So say you want, different sections, or say you want main topics and subtopics, you can actually define the level of detail that you want so that ChatGPT puts it in an outline that's more attuned to what you want it to do.
So when you say, okay, I need another example. Do you have an example?
Okay, yeah, I actually, in the workbook, I have a lot of examples for people. So if you're following along and you're kind of confused at what we're talking about, the workbook has so many examples of prompt templates that you can use. And I'm actually using some of them as I'm talking to you right now. So what you can do is you can say, like, create an outline for a blog post on, and then you would put your idea that has blank number of sections. And then you say, ensure each section covers a unique aspect of the topic. Or you can say that
like a rubric. It's like what the teacher would give me to make sure that my thesis paper has everything in it.
Yeah, because if you're somebody that has a really, specific writing style and how you want your outlines done, you can just let ChatGPT know, I want 4 sections and I want each section to have a main topic and like 3 subtopics in bullet points. And it'll do exactly what you tell it. It's really, just imagine you're talking to a friend and you're telling them, create me an outline that has this, this, and this. That's exactly what you do with ChatGPT. You just tell it what you want.
And when it gives you the outline, does it give you like a paragraph, or do you just start with the outline and then you move into the next part where you like, do you write it? Does it write it? Well, tell me.
Okay, so after it generates the outline for you, you can actually go back, and if you don't like parts of the outline, you can say section 2, can you change section 2 to have this topic or to make these points, or you can actually go back and have it revise it. So once you have your outline the way you want it, what you can do is you can just ask it to create a blog post for you. You can just say, please write a blog post for this outline, and it will.
Oh my God. I really have to try this. I really do. Like, I believe you. It just seems that makes the work that I did with all of our podcast writing seem like so much work.
Yeah, it's not. Actually, we skipped a part where we do the keywords.
Yeah.
So after we do like the outline, you could ask it to give you keywords to go through. So you would just basically say, generate a list of keywords for my blog post from the outline you just created.
Okay.
And it will generate a list of keywords for you. You can actually ask it to create primary keywords and like secondary keywords.
So your process is that you start with the ideas and then you work through the outline with ChatGPT, and then you refine the outline, and then you ask it for keywords relative to your outline, and then you ask it to write the blog post. And then I bet that you probably edit that sucker to make sure it's like your words and personality and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And so one thing I wanted to bring up also is when you ask it to write the blog post from your outline, you can let it know that you want to make sure it includes those keywords.
Oh, okay.
So you can tell it, write it for the outline, make sure you include these keywords just to make sure it does that. And I
Mm-hmm.
also wanted to let you know that if you have an article that's already written and you wanted to extract keywords from that, you can just plug the article in and simply ask ChatGPT to, um, you know, provide recommendations for you and pull out keywords from your article. So if you're not somebody that wants to use ChatGPT to write the article for you or do any of that stuff, you can go back and have it do that for other articles you've written. And one of the things I will tell you from what I've learned is if you just ask ChatGPT to write an article for you from an outline, it's going to be horrible. Because it uses like these verbose words in places, and it's not like how I talk, and it's a little challenging. So it's really the key is in how you write your prompt. So you can ask it to make it more conversational. You can ask it to write it in an eighth grade level reading level, an eighth grade
Mm-hmm.
reading level. So it doesn't use, verbose words. You can ask it to keep it, casual or make it formal or humorous, inspirational. You can just use different attributes like that to really customize it more to your tone of voice. You can also plug in, if you have writing that you've done in the past, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell ChatGPT that here is your writing style and plug in that article and have them ask them to, when they write the article for you, to use that as kind of a reference of how they write the article, to use your tone and style in the article they write.
That's
That's
fun. So it gets to know you.
Yeah, I've actually taken writings from other people and asked it to analyze the writing and tell me what type of prompt I would have to type in to get it to write something of that nature for me. So, for
Wow.
example, when I was writing descriptions for my book for Amazon, that's not an easy task to come up with a description of a
Uh-uh.
book, right? So, what I did was I copied Alex Hermosi. I don't know if you've heard of him. I
Mm-mm.
copied his description from Amazon and plugged that into ChatGPT and said, I want my description to sound in a similar conversation style and tone to this. And it did. It made it, but it didn't make it sound like Alex Hermosi, and it didn't put the information from his description in. It just used his tone and style for my description, which was pretty exciting. I thought that it can do that.
This this could save me so much time in writing my emails. Like I actually writing blog posts is kind of fun, but then when I have to like roll it into an email, I feel like it's harder for me because it's got to be more succinct, but I want to tell a story because I want to write it like I'm friends. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so
Well, that's
okay, can
another
I?
thing you can do with ChatGPT. It's really cool. So for your case, right, that you told me, what you would do is you would take your blog post and you would say, all right, ChatGPT, please create an email. Start the email with a story, and then put your story in of what you wanted to start with, or just a brief outline of your story, and
Mhm.
then tell them you want like a basic summary of the blog post, and it will do that for you. It is
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so what I did with my book, which was really cool for my description, what I asked it for was, I was like, well, first I gave it the table of contents for my book. So it was really clear on what the book covered. And then I asked it to write a one paragraph description of what the book what the book was. Asked it to
Mhm.
write a one sentence summary of what the book was, and it did. It's just amazing. It's really great at summarizing information for you. And, I've actually said, condense this paragraph into 2 sentences. And it does. And it's like more amazing than I could have ever done.
You know what else I could do? I submit articles to, a magazine, and so he'll pick which recent article I've written and which one it is, and then I have to edit it from, like, 2,500 words back down to 800 words,
Oh,
and
wow.
while I don't mind doing that because, it's not actually that hard, they're all there, you just delete them and, like, try to make it still make sense. I bet I could put that 2,500 word article into ChatGPT and say, okay, I'm going to make up my prompt. You tell me if this would work or not. Edit this down to between 800 and 900 words. Keep the conversational tone and see what it does.
Yeah.
With that, and it
Yeah,
would do
I would
it.
ask it. So here's what I would do. I would make sure that the one thing about ChatGPT is when I've asked it to summarize or, condense stuff, it starts using its own language. It just kind of makes it. So what you have to make sure in the prompt is you tell it to, without changing the overall content. Those are keywords, without changing the overall content. And so that way it'll keep what your general idea and your writing structure, but, condense it down.
You really are a programmer. You really are. Because like I'm listening to this, I'm like, it's like learning a programming language. I love it.
But
But once you understand it, it's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually like talking to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about, and you need to explain that, step by step so that they understand it. And it's just a challenge, but it's so fun. Like I love this stuff. Like it's really fun for me.
Well, and I'm excited that you get to share it with other people because this is, So do you use the finalized article then to help it write a title for it? How do you do that? Because I have a really hard time with titles. I have to be fair, a really hard time. I actually just recorded a podcast yesterday. No idea what the title is going to be. I've written 7 different ones. I've deleted them all. I can't wait to go put it in a ChatGPT and hopefully it will help me title this stupid article.
That is my downfall too. I have ideas for apps that I've actually mapped out and didn't do because I couldn't think of a name for it. Like I couldn't get a good name. And it's just such a challenge for me. That is like the worst thing for me. I cannot name stuff. And ChatGPT is like amazing at this. Now, it doesn't always get it perfect. Like I've had to spend, a couple 4 or 5 going back and forth with, I don't like this. Here's why I don't like it. Can you generate more ideas based on this? Or here's what I want it to say. Can you generate titles based on that? And so what you can do is you can ask it just to generate a title from your outline or, even from your keywords or even from like a blog post. But you probably will have to say, I like this idea because of this, but here's what I don't like about it. Can you generate some more ideas? And it will. And it's really nice because if you ask a person that like 5 times, they're going to be like, please stop asking me. I'm not going to help you anymore. But ChatGPT is like happy to help and it just keeps generating ideas for you. So
it's funny that you say that because like about naming things is so hard. So we help people with their websites. We build websites, right? And we'll have new businesses come to us and many times they've been like, we have this new business. We know exactly what we're calling. They don't know what they're calling it, but they have all the processes and all the stuff around it. And they're like, they have the building, whatever it is. And they're like, can you help us think of a name and a tagline? And I'm like, ooh, I'm not your girl. Totally not. Totally not your girl. Like my mom thought of my business name. I did not.
Funny.
Like the story behind that is my middle name is May, M-A-Y-E. My grandmother's middle name is May. Her mother's middle name is May. My mom's middle name is Faye, F-A-Y-E. And then there's Kay, Renee, Ray, and they all rhyme and they're all these. Okay. So then she's like, wait a second. You may create a brochure. You may create a website. So you're may create. And I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll run with it. She thought of it before I even started my business. And I'm like, I remember doodling it while I was on my study abroad trip, my last year of college before I ever even started my business because my mom already named it. And then it took until I was 25 when she convinced me to actually start it. But yeah. Okay. Enough of me though. All right. So few more questions for you. You said there's a few things that you don't want to do with ChatGPT. Are there any other things like, you warned us that it's only retaining knowledge up to 2021. And then what else? Is there anything else that you're like, do not do this, it won't work for you?
I think you can just try it for yourself. Like sometimes I'll type in prompts and I'll be like, I have no idea what answer I'm going to get. And I just do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It tells you no, or it gives you some weird answer or something like that. And it's not going to call you stupid or anything. I did, however, get into a minor argument with it a few weeks ago. And I don't call it an argument. It probably
The
didn't care.
argument.
But I had asked it something about its processing capabilities that I was trying to learn, like a month or so ago. And then I came back and asked it about it again, and it trying to confirm what it told me. And it said, no, that's not true. And I'm like, wait, but this is what you told me. And it's like, I understand that. I apologize for the inconvenience. And it says that is not true. And it told me again. And I'm like, I'm not accepting this as an answer. So I went back and I copied and pasted other stuff that it told me that was relevant. And I said, here, this is something else you told me. And it kept saying, I apologize. That is not correct. And then after the third time, it finally said, as I said earlier, and because it was getting annoyed with me that I kept asking it. But I just wanted to be sure because it told me one thing before. So it's not always correct. I will tell you that. So if you're relying on it for facts, you really need to check the facts. Don't rely on it for that. It gets confused just like everybody else. Well, it doesn't always give you the right answers. So you have to be careful about it and always check. If you're presenting information about a specific topic and you get information from ChatGPT about it, please go in and double check that what it told you was correct, especially if you're putting it out there in front of a bunch of people and your reputation's on the line or whatever. You don't want to say, well, ChatGPT told me, so that's why I did it. So
That's like being like, well, I read it on Wikipedia, and it's like, yes, I bet you did. That's fine and everything. Where else?
yeah.
I do have one other question about capabilities, and then because this just editing. So one of the challenges that I have is where the comma goes, whether it should be a semicolon or a colon or a dash or an M dash, or can you ask it, does it edit? Can it do that?
It can proofread. Yeah.
Proofread. That's what's called proofreading.
Yeah, just say, proofread this article. I actually use Grammarly for that kind of thing, but you can still use ChatGPT. I haven't really tested it to, make sure that it actually proofread correctly. But yeah, it can proofread, and it can actually also translate languages. Like you said, you talk to your Spanish people, you can write whatever your phrase is in English and then say, please translate that to Spanish. And
wow. It probably does it a better job maybe than Google Translate does, because my husband and I are taking a trip to Costa Rica. So I've been doing a ton of research, and there's not actually as much as you would think. Their businesses, I guess, don't have as many websites as you would think. A lot of their stuff is on Facebook. So I'm in Facebook and I'm like, yeah, no. And so Facebook will be or my browser, Chrome, will be like, do you want us to translate this for you? And I'm like, sure. Because I've taken Spanish and I studied abroad in Costa Rica, but that does not mean that I speak Spanish like a 5-year-old, maybe, might be more like a 2-year-old. And so I'll read it and I'll be like, I'm pretty sure that's not what they were trying to say there. It doesn't make any sense. So hopefully it's smarter than Google Translate.
I've never actually used it myself for that, though. I've never asked it to translate, but it says it can do it. So it's one of its capabilities.
Very cool. Well, okay. So you have the workbook that everybody can go out to Create and download, which will be awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to download it. And do you have anything else that you want to tell people about, any offers that you have in your business or any courses or anything coming up so they could learn maybe more about how to use this for themselves?
I actually have some courses coming up, but nothing solidified that I feel comfortable talking about it right now.
Okay.
In the back of the workbook, you can find information about me and my website and stuff like that. So if you just go to techwithandrea.com, you can see what all I have to offer. By the time this podcast comes out, I will have the website up and should have more information on there, and some freebies. I have other freebies to give out that I've created too.
Awesome. Well, whenever you have your ChatGPT course, you'll have to tell me about it so I can tell other people about it so they can learn exactly what prompts to write, because it does take sometimes a programmer's brain to sort through, like, find the common thread and the actual words that you need to pull the data out of the database and into the loop to display it for people to see, right? So keep us posted on your new business adventures, okay?
Oh, very exciting. Yeah, and it's all just trial and error. If you're not getting the answers you want, I included a section in the workbook on what to do if you're not getting the responses from ChatGPT that you want. There are different techniques and things that you can add to the prompt to help you out. But it's just have fun with it. It's super simple. And the more information you give it, the better your results are going to be. So
I'm okay. Well, if everybody else isn't completely pumped about going back to their computer and sitting down and figuring out how to use this program, well, then they're not me, because I'm really, really pumped about it. So thank you so much for this introduction to ChatGPT. I'm pumped. Make sure everybody go out and download the workbook, because it's going to teach us a lot. And this could save us like hours and hours worth of time and just be like the little writing friend that we needed, right? Because everybody needs a friend to help them write. I feel like writing on an island sucks.
If you've ever wanted to run an article by somebody or say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And nobody was around. Well, now you have ChatGPT to do it. So I just want to thank you so much for inviting me to be on your amazing podcast. It's an honor, and I truly appreciate it so much. I think you are amazing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. Thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, go forth and market with purpose. To get a copy of the show notes and all those links that we just heard from our guest, head on over to mayecreate.com, MAYECREATE.com. And of course, I had to tell you the things that all podcasters are supposed to tell you at the end of their episodes. Like, if you thought this was awesome, you could subscribe. And then I would get to tell you when I have new stuff for you to learn, and new episodes, and new people to meet, new stories to tell. Oh, and of course, I would really love it if you left a review. So head on over to mayecreate.com for those show notes, MAYECREATE.com, or maybe even contact my team about building that next website. We can do it for you, and we even have our Better Than DIY website program that teaches you to plan and build your own website. So head on over to mayecreate.com, MAYECREATE.com. I'll meet you over there.